Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name is Katie, I'm the Introverted Reader. Thank you all for being here, I appreciate you. Today's video is going to be my October wrap up, and hopefully this time the gremlins that live inside my phone won't decide to not let me keep the title of my video this time. That was a fun time, the last video, wasn't it? I don't know what happened there. I really don't. Anyway, so we're going to be wrapping up October. I have all the books that I read here. October was certainly interesting. Started off okay. It's been up and down, bit of a roller coaster. But anyway, I managed to read 8 books in October, which is great. I love that for me. The first book that I read was on my Kindle. I actually finished it while I was away on holiday, and honestly, I wish I was still there. I miss Florence so much. I finished it while I was away on holiday, and that was The Mystery Guest by Nita Prose. It's the sequel to The Maid by Nita Prose, which, if y'all know, I read a few months ago and really loved The Maid. I thought it was great. The Mystery Guest was fine. It was fine. It wasn't great. It wasn't terrible. It was just fine. Basically, we're still following Molly the maid in the Grand Regency. Is that what it's called? Regency Grand? Something like that. Anyway, and it's been like a year or so since the events from the previous one, and she's doing quite well, but then this famous author comes to stay at the hotel, and during his visit, he was in the middle of giving a speech, and then in the middle of his speech, he falls down dead. So yeah, and he falls down dead, and everything goes from there. Hold on, let's have a drink first. I nearly forgot to do that. Why does my throat get so dry when I start talking? Anyway, so naturally, Molly is in the thick of it once again. And I'll say this, I enjoyed it for the most part. The detective that's in it, Detective Stark, honestly, she pissed me off pretty much all the way through. And one thing that grates me about not just that, the first one as well, Molly is clearly autistic. Why are we not just acknowledging that? Like, it says, oh, I'm just a little bit different from everyone else. I'm just a little silly. She's just a little weird. She's different from the other kids. And it's like, no, she's neurodivergent. She's autistic. Why are we not just saying it? But anyway, that's a rant for another day. But Mystery Guest, after that long-winded explanation, I ended up giving 4 stars on Goodreads. But if I'm being real, more like a 3.5. Anyway, that was book 1 that I finished. And then the second book that I completed was Where Sleeping Girls Lie by Farida Abike Imide. I believe that is how you pronounce her name. Please correct me in the comments if not. But I listened to this via audio. I was listening to this actually on the plane to and from my holiday, and honestly, it absolutely slapped. It absolutely slapped. I love this book. Now, I read Ace of Spades by this author, and I did love Ace of Spades. I did have some issues with it. I think I gave it a 4.5. This, full 5. Full 5, 10s across the board, okay? So this is about our main character, Shade Hussein, and she was homeschooled for most of her life, but then her father passes away, and then she ends up going to this school called the Alfred Nobel Academy. Now, she's not in first year, she's like a second year or something like that. And anyway, so she's coming to this school for the first time. It's all very prestigious. It's all very, full of Nepo babies, if you will. And she comes in and she's got a lot of baggage, our Shade. She has a lot of things from her past that she's still traumatized by. And then she comes into the school and she makes this friend, Elizabeth, who is actually her roommate. But then Elizabeth goes missing. And it's like, and everybody is kind of like giving her the side eye a little bit, as like, where's Elizabeth gone? What happened to her? And that's all I'm going to say about this, because that's all I knew about this before I went in. But honestly, I genuinely feel like you need to go in this knowing the bare minimum, because, although, listen, I will say, Is there an author's note at the beginning of this? Oh yeah, there is an author's note at the beginning of this, which I do think everybody should read, because the author goes into like content warnings and such that you should be aware of before going into this. So read that and be aware of those before you go in. But honestly, this was wonderful. It made me think, it made me mad, it made me happy, it made me want to cry in frustration, but like so good. Amazing, wonderful. If you just haven't read this yet, read it. Get the audiobook. That's what I did. Get the audiobook. It's great. And then those were sort of the two books I completed while I was on holiday, but the one I finished whenever I got home was Infinity Alchemist by Kason Callender. Isn't that cover just lovely? So this was the Introverted Reader Book Club pick for the month of October, and I think I made a good choice. I'm second guessing myself. All in all, I gave this 3 stars. This was all right. But I have a full review for this on my channel if you want to go and watch it, if you want to get my full thoughts, feelings, and opinions on this. But overall, I just thought, it was what it was. It was fine. I wasn't blown away, but go watch my review if you want a little bit more tea on that, sis. Okay? And then after I finished that, I read Celestial Monsters by Aidan Thomas. This is the sequel to the Sunbear Trials, which is basically set within this fantasy world where there's this competition every year, where at the very end, the loser is sacrificed in order to keep the island protected that they all live on. That is the bare basic synopsis that I can give. The sequel, I gave it 4 stars in the end. Again, it was all right. There's a lot of our heroes go on a quest in this one, which is totally fine. I'm all for going on quests, but I don't know. I remember getting to the end and feeling like that was awful convenient. You know, like, do you know what I mean? Like, it didn't have the same punch as the first one did, if I'm being real. I kind of feel, now this might be a controversial opinion, I kind of feel we could have gotten a trilogy out of this. Hear me out. I feel like we could have, because I just feel like there would have been a lot more. We could have had so much more. We could have stretched it out a little bit more. We could have developed a little bit more. I don't know. It just felt very meh by the end, if I'm being real. But at the same time, I love the representation in here. Like, Aidan Thomas gets that with the queer rep in here. I do really love the characters. I love the message that it gets across and everything. I liked all of that, but I don't know. I might be the only one that feels like we could have gotten a trilogy out of that, but maybe the deal was only a duology, but whatever. Anyway, and then after that, I read Land of Stories, Worlds Collide by Chris Colfer. I finally completed this series, and honestly, this gets a 5 out of 5, because, I just think it wrapped up so well. Like, do I still think that sometimes some things were a little bit convenient for our heroes, a little bit like, oh, you got off pretty quick. But, like, do you know what? Like, Chris Colfer's writing and the way he was able to wrap everything up in here, and it was so much fun. It was so much fun and just sweet and heartwarming, and it did get me in my feelings towards the end. So if you haven't read The Land of Stories, I highly recommend you do, because it was great. Oh wait, no. Okay, so after I read that, I read The True Love Experiment by Christina Lauren. Well, I DNF'd The True Love Experiment by Christina Lauren, which again, I have a whole video on. If you want to go and watch that and get my full feelings, thoughts, opinions on that book, because I've been doing this thing where I've been reading romance books by popular romance authors for the first time and doing little discussion videos about them. So if you want to go and watch that, you can. But yeah, that's all I'm going to say. That's all I'm going to say. Go watch my video. about the True Love Experiment, and yeah, you'll understand why I don't want to talk about it anymore. Okay, moving on. So then I read Ouran High School Host Club Volume 2. You guys know I rewatched the anime a while ago, and I love that anime so much. It's probably my favorite anime ever. Like, it's just so much fun and cute and wholesome, and there's no drama, because there's no big heavy drama. There's no like and like it's just sweet and cute, and I love it. You know, it's just I love it. So I've been rereading the manga, and I haven't read a manga in a really, really long time, and I'm so happy that I'm reading this again because I love these characters so much. I adore it. I love it. I love it. Yeah, 4 stars for that. And then I DNF'd I DNF'd another book, which I was quite disappointed by because I was hoping to like this book, and that was Evocation by S.T. Gibson. I gave it a try, okay? I gave it a try. I got over 100 pages in, and I have my bookmark still in there. I have a bookmark with a Bible verse written on it, tucked inside of a book about the occult. What? Anyway, just put you away. Keep you. Anyway, yes, I ended up DNFing this because I couldn't have cared less. I didn't care anymore because, okay, so it's basically about our boy David, who's on the frontier. And David is this, David is a lawyer by day. He's very good at his job. He's very wealthy, very, very Nepo baby. Like, he's a full-on Nepo baby. Like, he's all, yeah. But on the side, he does, like, occult stuff. And he is a part of this, like, secret occult society. And he goes to people's houses and, like, conducts, like, seances and stuff to contact their loved ones. And he gets paid for it and whatever. And turns out something attaches itself to him, and he calls in his ex-boyfriend Reese to help him, but Reese doesn't want anything to do with him because Reese is like, no, you, hate you. And like David's all like, oh, it's been 6 months, why aren't you over it? Well, maybe you done did something real bad, David. You know, and Reese doesn't want anything to do with him. Reese is happily married to a lovely woman named Moira, and he's just like, forget about David. I don't care about him anymore. We hate him. But then they sort of end up begrudgingly working together. And at first I was kind of into it, but after a while, my level of my ability to care just dwindled. And it got to a point where I was only carrying on with it because I felt like I had to. And yeah, and David is an idiot as well. David's an absolute idiot. Because there was this whole conversation, like, because they were talking about his alleged possession or whatever. And Reese and Moira were asking him, but like, what do you do to protect yourself when you're doing all this? And he's like, nothing. If anyone comes near me, I just tell them to fuck off. And it's like, you possibly have something very dangerous and demonic attached to you, and you do nothing to protect your... Sorry, just I've watched enough ghost hunting videos to know that's a bad thing to do. Anyway, I DNF'd it, didn't bother rating it, and I'm sorry if you read this and loved it, but I just... Goodbye. So, and then the final book that I read in the month of October was Somewhere Beyond the Sea by TJ Klune. By the way, if Cats at Camera is watching this and you haven't read this yet, you don't have to listen to me talking about it if you don't want to. I would appreciate it if you ducked out now. So go on. See you later. Is Kaz away? Right, okay. So this is the sequel to House in the Cerulean Sea. And I'm saying this with the utmost respect. I did enjoy it for the most part. I do love TJ Klune's writing, but if I'm being real, this book didn't need to exist. I'll be fully real. Like, if House in the Cerulean Sea was just a one-hit wonder and we were done, that's it. I'm not saying it still wasn't sweet and wholesome, because of course it was, because, you know, it's a year or more after, you know, the events of the first one, but it's basically the first one sort of all over again, except because in the first one it was Linus who was coming to the house to inspect and talk to the children and stuff, make sure they were all okay. But then in this one, it's a different inspector. It's a woman this time. And instead of her getting the redemption arc that Linus got, she was just really, really mean. And just horrible. And I love the fact that they were all able to... I'm happy with the way this book went, but at the same time, it got very repetitive and it kind of got a bit preachy. If I'm being honest, listen, I go to church, I've heard some sermons in my time, but, you know, after a while you get tired of hearing them, do you know what I'm saying? So, as lovely as it was, I don't think it needed to exist. Yeah. And listen, I enjoyed the fact that we delved a bit more into Arthur's past. I feel like we could have delved into that a little bit more, if I'm being honest. Like if we switch back and forth from Arthur now with the children and with Linus happy, and then go back to him maybe younger, discovering, you know, do you know what I mean? I felt like we could have gone in a different direction rather than just recycling what's already been done. Do you know what I mean? That might sound a bit harsh, but that is my feelings on the matter, ladies and gentlemen of the jury, and I'm gonna stick with that. So yeah, so that's all I'm gonna say for today. Hold on, get my Kindle up here, because I've lost many a Kindle under a heavy book, let me tell you that much. So this is the damage that was done in October. 2 DNFs, but for the most part it was a good reading month and I'm proud of myself. So I'm happy to have all these books wrapped up. I'm happy to have series completed. I completed a duology. I completed Land of Stories. I'm very happy with oh my god, with everything that I have read and all I did in October. And now we can move on into November, which is wild and crazy, because where did October even go? But anyway, I hope you all enjoyed. Hope you're all having a good day. Let me know if you read any of these and you felt the same way that I did. Did you discover any new favorites in October? Did you read much? Did you read at all? What are you going to do for Halloween? If you were going to be partaking in Halloween, let me know. So anyway, all of my socials are down below as always. Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok. On my TikTok, I have very important videos concerning Palestine and the Congo, so please share them, like them as much as you can. You don't have to follow me over there, but just go and look and share as much as you can. Also over there, I'm selling some K-pop albums and some posters, so if you want to go over there and see what ones I have, feel free to have a look. And yeah, DM me if you see anything that you would like. So, and subscribe if you haven't already. Ring the bell. And I will see you guys on Saturday for another video. What that video is going to be, I have no idea. But I will see you then regardless. Bye.